Over the past year, I've been looking for the perfect camera bag, and I think I found it, the Clever Supply Co. Sling. I've had this bag for about a month or so, and I wanted to break it in before I actually made a video about it. But after about a month of using it, it's safe to say this is probably my favorite camera bag that I've ever owned and I've ever used. I'm typically not a big fan of large camera backpacks, like 35 liter backpacks. I like to carry around something small and compact that holds all of the camera gear that I realistically need when I'm out shooting. If you've seen my previous videos, you will know that I've gone through quite a few camera bags in just the past year. Now, I've been holding out, waiting for this one. About a year ago, Todd from Clever Supply Co. told me he was working on his own camera bag, and I couldn't be more excited because I love all of the camera straps and everything he makes, so I knew when he made a bag, it would probably be perfect for what I need, and I was right. As you can tell, it's super small, super portable. It's got hand straps on each side and on the back as well, so when you're getting out of your car, you can just toss it in the back seat and pull it out, and it's perfect. Throw it over your shoulder, or you can crossbody it. I've walked around for hours with this bag on, and it's perfect because when you're ready to get your camera out, you just bring it around, open it up, and take your camera out. Goes back to the side, and you're ready to shoot. So now that we have the bag open, let's go over what's inside. I'm able to carry my camera with a lens attached and 3 extra lenses in this tiny little bag, which is honestly incredible. As for the camera that I keep in this bag, I have my Sony a7C, as you saw a minute ago, and I have my 35mm 1.8 lens attached. I have the Clever Supply Co. strap on here, which I absolutely love, and you might notice that I have my camera strap oriented like this, so I can keep it on my shoulder and just bring it up and take photos. I found that for my style of shooting, it's easier for me to keep the strap attached to the bottom and the side, rather than on both sides. You may also notice that I do have a thumb grip attached to my A7C because it is a rather small camera, so the thumb grip makes it a lot more enjoyable and easier to shoot with. It also makes it a lot easier to pull the camera out of the bag when you have that grip attached. The A7C to me is the perfect small compact camera that I just love shooting with. Now, moving on from the A7C and the additional lenses that I carry in my camera bag, you'll see in the middle slot I have 2 lenses actually stacked on top of each other laying down, and that is my 50mm and my 24mm. I keep the 50mm on top since I tend to shoot with that more often than the 24, which is actually kind of surprising for me to say because up until recently, I was not a 50mm kind of guy. But as soon as I bought the 50mm 2.5G lens from Sony, I haven't been able to stop using it. On both the 50 and the 24, I have these lens hoods that I really like using. They give the camera kind of a retro aesthetic, which is what I really enjoy about the silver A7C. Moving on from those 2 lenses, the final lens I carry in my camera bag is the 20mm 1.8. I enjoy having a good wide lens with me. I don't really need anything wider than a 20mm, although the new Viltrox 16 1.8 is very appealing to me, but I'm pretty happy with the 20mm. Also doubles as a great lens to swap out for a video as well. That's it for the main center compartment of the camera bag. Now there's a couple other pouches located on this camera bag. One on the front that I don't really tend to use very often since I keep my camera bag pretty jam-packed full of stuff. So there's not a whole lot of room to fit anything in the front. Which is not a big deal to me because I can still easily fit everything that I need for photography in this camera bag. In the back is a pouch probably designed for a small tablet or anything you might want to put in there. Personally, I like to keep a small notebook and a pen in here for miscellaneous reasons when I'm out shooting. It comes in handy. One of my favorite features of this camera bag that I've never seen another camera bag have is actually on the center dividers, there are small slots for SD cards, which is extremely convenient because on all of my other camera bags, I tend to put my SD cards in places just in random pouches, and when I'm looking for an extra SD card, I usually end up going through every single pouch on the camera bag trying to locate the SD card because I just can't seem to remember where they are. But because these are so convenient and cleverly, no pun intended, designed, they are located right on the side of each divider. The one little issue that I've ran into a couple times is when I'm removing my camera or a lens, it might accidentally slide out the SD card as well, but it's never happened and fallen out of my camera bag. It typically just falls down into the camera bag, so I'm not too worried about that happening. But then I decided to give my camera a little bit more room and make the other slots a little bit more narrow where I keep my lenses, and it hasn't really been an issue since. Now the final compartment on this camera bag is kind of on the top here on the inside, and I can hold a lot of miscellaneous things in here that I might need out while shooting. Like I carry 2 filters with me. I carry a Tiffin glimmer glass in here. I prefer the glimmer glass over the Pro Mist because the glimmer glass tends to not reduce the overall contrast of an image. It really just gives that nice bloom to highlights, which I think is the main reason a lot of people buy mist filters, but the glimmer glass is kind of slept on. Let me know if you guys would like to see a comparison video of glimmer glass and Pro Mist filters. The other filter that I keep in here is a polarizer because it's always super convenient to have, especially if you're shooting midday when it's not cloudy and the sun is out. With a polarizer, you can easily get rid of all light reflecting off of trees, which will make your photos look a million times better, because if you've ever tried to shoot photos midday and the sun is reflecting off of the trees look green and white, and I'm not a big fan of that look. But a polarizer fixes that almost completely. And especially if you're shooting like cars or real estate, polarizer is also a must. Now with those filters, I also carry step-up rings for my 24mm and my 50mm, and I only need 2 step-up rings to reach the size of my filters, which I bought with my 35 in mind. Moving on, I also keep a Peak Design wrist strap in here as well, which is also nice to have for shooting street photography if you don't want to use your camera strap, because you can just use a wrist strap. And when you're using a wrist strap, your camera feels more like an extension of your arm, and fractions of a second can make a difference in street photography. So I highly recommend picking up a wrist strap as well. Other than that, I keep a couple extra things for my A7C because I never know when I might need them. I keep an extra battery in here just in case for my A7C. The A7C has extremely good battery life, and I don't think I've ever had to actually swap out the battery on my camera. More often than not, I will probably use this battery to replace the one that's in my camera filming. And the final thing I keep in my camera bag is an eye cup for my A7C, but I've found ever since I got the thumb grip, it pretty much stays on my camera all of the time, and I don't really use the eye cup at all. But it's always good to have this as a backup just in case if you're shooting during the day or even at sunset and the sun's behind you, because the A7C viewfinder is not the best. But that's everything I keep in my camera bag. I would like to say my setup is minimalist because I don't carry anything in this camera bag that I don't need. So when I go out to shoot, I just grab my camera bag and I know I'm good to go. I think when deciding the right camera bag for you, it's important to remember what you need and what you don't actually need. And this Sling has all of my bases covered. Going back to the overall design of the camera bag, I decided to go with the khaki brown version rather than the black. Overall, I just prefer the aesthetic of a brown leather camera bag. And I love the choice of the khaki canvas in addition to the brown leather on the camera bag. I just think it looks super sleek, and it fits my overall aesthetic just better than the black. While we're talking about the design more, I'll also mention that the shoulder strap is super comfortable. Since you can't fit anything too heavy in the camera bag, you're not going to have to worry about the pad digging into your shoulder. So I think I pretty much covered everything with this camera bag. If I missed anything, or if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments and I will get back to you as soon as possible. But I think it's safe to say that I will not be making another What's in My Camera Bag video anytime soon probably, because I will be sticking with this bag for a long time. I would also like to mention that this is not a sponsored video. I'm only making this video because I absolutely love this bag. Thanks for watching the video, guys. If you enjoyed this video, I have a lot of other YouTube videos on my channel about going out and actually taking photos. I just recently went on a Route 66 trip across the country. I really wish I had this bag with me then. It would have been perfect for the whole trip. But regardless, thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed this one, please like the video and subscribe to help support me so I can continue growing and reaching a larger audience, and go out and shoot.